am in Ecuador. I'm staying with my friend Mira Hempe, who's living here with the Shuar. We're very close to the river Zamora. You can see the river Zamora just down here. Just further up the river, the large open pit copper mine is due to be started shortly. This is the first grand scale mine to have ever happened in Ecuador. There are two mines, two large grand scale mines. One is the Kinross Aurelio gold mine, and this is the Mirador mine owned by the Chinese company Ecuacorrientes. The Ecuadorian government have no experience at all of large scale mining. The Ecuadorian government appear to be totally unaware of the potentially devastating results of open cast mining and large scale mining. These effects have been noticed all over the world. In every large scale mine on the planet there has been a lot of environmental destruction. This area here is particularly valuable because this is known as an ecological hotspot. This area, the Cordillera de Condor around us, is one of the most biodiverse areas on the planet, recognized as one of the most biodiverse areas in Latin America. The Constitution of Ecuador, as written in 2008, has incorporated in the Constitution the rights of nature. These mines are totally in opposition to the rights of nature, because these mines will categorically destroy nature. They will not only destroy the forests, they will also destroy the life in the rivers. They will disrupt the social fabric of society. They are potentially the greatest disaster that could ever befall an area. The reason for the exploitation is that the government require money to pay back debts. The government are selling the nature for short-term gain, regardless of the fact that once nature is sold and destroyed in the sense of an open pit copper mine, that nature can never, ever, ever be replaced. That nature is lost in perpetuity. And this is the necessity of the treatment of the waters which have been used, and there are millions and millions and millions of liters of water will have to be treated in perpetuity for even a century, even more. In America, open pit mines have water treatment plants which are necessary to maintain for between 100 and 500 years. There is no planning here in the environmental assessments to treat this water for between 100 and 500 years. There's more likelihood that the companies will go bankrupt before their moral duty is met, the moral duty to disallow pollution. Gold mine, Fruta del Norte gold mine by Kinross Aurelio, is another huge mine where the extraction, the company Kinross Aurelio are looking for an extraction of 13 million ounces of gold. In the processing of rock to produce gold, there's a release of cadmium, mercury, and various other heavy metals. And mercury in particular is an incredibly dangerous substance, which when ingested by fish, and when people then ingest the fish, comes into the bloodstream and the metabolism of human beings, and in fact all life forms. And it poisons and it eventually kills. I'm saying these words to bring awareness that these mines really must not happen, because if they do happen, it will destroy this environment. And you can see now what a beautiful environment it is, with 60,000 tons of rock due to be mined every day from the Mirador mine. It means that there will be virtually non-stop explosions and a release of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, and of course all the heavy metals coming into the water supply. I keep talking about the water supply because water is life, and if we pollute the life stream, then we pollute and kill everything. And this, I don't feel that this is recognized by the people who live here. I've traveled most of the world. I've been in Australia, New Zealand, the South Pacific, and Africa, and India, and almost all of Europe, America, and Canada. And I've seen how we've destroyed our environments in the West by stripping out the woodlands, mining, and how the results of our activities have changed the climate of the world, and how now we're beginning in this year 2012 to move into a time when world supplies of food are diminishing because we've changed the climate. This is one of the last areas, and if we allow this area to be destroyed like we've destroyed the rest of the planet, we are losing something extremely valuable. And also this area is a treasure house of biodiversity, and if we continue to destroy the rest of the planet the way we are, this area is an area where we can reintroduce biodiversity from here into the rest of the world. So there's a responsibility to maintain the biodiversity of this area. This needs to be held with passion. We must not allow these mines to happen. We can go into details of how much water, how much rock, how much poison, how many hydroelectric schemes, how much flooding of natural habitat, how much degradation of systems. And the facts are all there to be read. They're all there. And with the education, we understand, but without education, and in this area we have the transnationals who are not educating the people because they want the money. This is a failure to acknowledge and stand by the International Declaration of Human Rights. The people here, the Shuar, and there are over 60 centers here in this area, the people are not aware of the danger they're facing. They know that this is a bad idea. They are against this mining. Ecuador is a country signatory to the International Code on Human Rights, and these human rights are being abused. In this last year, the Sarayaku have won a case against the Ecuadorian government on the case of human rights. But it took 10 years. And we have the same situation developing right here, right now, in this area. The abuse of human rights for the extraction of minerals over a 20-year period, which will decimate the biodiversity of the area. It will decimate the social structure of the Shuar. And education is essential to stop this. What I want to look at, and what I am looking at, and why I'm here, is to look at ways that I and any others who can, how we can help to create the necessary education to resist these mines. The Shuar, in their declaration in August in Bomboiza, have declared they will fight these mines until their last breath. I would not like to see any violence around this mining industry. I would like to see education, international force of law, NGOs involved to help empower the local people and to empower from outside the country. Because in recent years, any opposition to the mines have been classed as terrorism. The blocking of roads and protests and demonstrations have been declared by the government as terrorist activities and have been criminalized. People have been charged with offenses. Many cases have been dismissed, but some local leaders are still in a process of law, and therefore their movements are restricted and their power to oppose the mines has been they've been disempowered. So my intention is to empower the people, and my feeling is that the energy needs to come from outside the country to focus in, and for the people here to know that they are supported on a worldwide basis. The organization I've just recently been involved with is Cultural Survival, who have a website and an organization which is 40 years old, which is set up to empower local people to fight against these abuses of human rights and abuses of nature which are happening right here in Ecuador. I'm passing on the information to Domingo Anquash, who is the president of the Bomboiza Schwa Association, and I'm looking to produce a map of the area which will show the potential environmental dangers to the area by marking on the map the areas of forest which will be deforested, to show on the map the water courses which will be potentially polluted. And when I look at the map of the Cordillera de Condor, I can see that the rivers flow both towards the Atlantic, towards Galiquiza and the Rio Zamora, and also the other way down into the Amazon basin. So when we have the treatment of deep rock, as especially, well, 1.5 kilometers, 1.25 kilometers is very deep, and that's the copper mine and the gold mine, where drilling and extracting rock in an underground mine 300 meters below the surface, down to greater depths from there, in bedrock which is fractured and filled with fault lines, which means that the polluted water goes deep down and then comes out from streams and springs and has the potential to pollute not only the rivers but the drinking water supplies of thousands and thousands of people. These are the facts which are not clearly stated, and these are the facts which really need to be stated, because if we let this happen, this means that there won't be life here anymore. And this is the reality. And this is the reality which we need to get over. And I want to empower people by getting the clarity of this reality across to the Schwa, the people who are not the Schwa, the mestizos, to everybody who lives in this area. Because this is our nature. And if we allow our nature to be destroyed, then we have no one to blame but ourselves. It is not right to allow ourselves to be victims. We need to stand up for what we know is true.